So then, 10 years and 3 phases after Iron Man kicked it all off in what we now call the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it finally comes down to this: Avengers Infinity War, the film that finally seeks to tie together all the hanging plot threads about the Infinity Stones that have popped up in all the other movies, as well as finally dispel the mystery surrounding Thanos the Mad Titan, who's been trying to collect them this whole time. The Russo brothers of Captain America fame take the directing chair on this third Avengers film outing, and right away they show just how committed they are to pulling no punches and completely upending your expectation of what an Avengers movie can be, how it should play out, and even what it should look or sound like. Much like the big, sprawling comic book storylines that the new movie is inspired by, Infinity War revels in allowing all the different colorful characters that we've come to know from across the Marvel Universe really get a chance to bounce off each other in fresh and interesting ways we haven't seen yet. Thor and Star-Lord butt dude bro heads over what direction should be taken. Iron Man and Doctor Strange don't respect each other yet, and poor Spider-Man is stuck between the two and in over his head on what is his first major team-up mission. The charisma of all the different performers is off the charts in this one, and the scenes come packing all that same laugh-out-loud Marvel joke material that we've come to expect. That's not to say Infinity War is a joke-a-minute type of film. It's funny, but I think perhaps more than any other of the Marvel movies to date, this one knows exactly when to take things slow, take their time, drop the music completely, and really let the severity of what's going on marinate with the audience. In fact, in the screening I was in, there were several times wherein the audience just sat in shocked silence, and that was pretty special. Now, I can already hear some people saying that the movie may jump around a little too much for its own good. There's about 4 major plot lines happening at any time. Personally, I feel there's something in there for everyone. Everyone's going to have their own personal favorite, whether it be Thor and his new Guardian friends looking for a super weapon, be it the other Avengers rushing to the side of Vision, who has one of the Infinity Gems that Thanos is after, a bunch of Earthbound heroes taking to space for the very first time and all the trouble they can get into while doing that. I will say that there is definitely zero chance of anyone walking away bored from this one, that's for sure. Now, a lot has already been made in the trailers and articles about the importance of Josh Brolin's Thanos, and I mean really, after so many movies building this guy up as the bad guy to end all bad guys, he better deliver, and I'm glad to say he absolutely does. He's not just another evil for evil's sake space conqueror who wants to destroy just because that's the in thing to do. No, the screenplay from Marcus and McFreely devotes a lot of time trying to explain this guy's ideology and what makes him tick. I should probably mention too at this point that it's a huge departure from the Thanos we know from the comics, but here in the universe of the movies, it all just kind of works. Thanos' ideas are shown to be cruel and twisted, yet not without their own weird internal logic. His plan makes perfect sense to him, and he's willing to go to any length and sacrifice everything he owns to get the job done, even when it hurts him. I'm not going to go out on a limb and call him a sympathetic villain or anything like, say, Killmonger was or Loki was. He is, however, a really three-dimensional villain, something that few superhero movies get in their bad guy. In a way, when you break it down, Avengers Infinity War really is Thanos' movie. He gets the most development, the biggest arc, and probably the best shot out of anyone in the movie, hero or villain. Now, joining Thanos on his quest for the Infinity Stones is the Black Order, a group of wonderfully designed, wonderfully threatened henchmen who bedevil the heroes for a good chunk of the movie. Each has their own little gimmick, be it a particular weapon, their size, etc., etc. They serve as good foils for the Avengers and make up the backbone of much of the action scenes, and they're all pretty damn solid action scenes. As with all Avengers movies, there's stuff you've come to expect. Are there cameos? You bet. There's one in particular that ties all the way back to Phase 1 that left me absolutely gobsmacked that they remembered to include this character. Are there callbacks to the other movies? Oh, you better believe it. Black Panther in particular gets a lot of time devoted to calling back to his movie, as they should, because that movie made a ton of money and it wasn't even that long ago. So he ends up walking away really well served, T'Challa. Is there a post-credit scene? Yeah, a really big one, but I think by now you all know to stick around, right? Is Avengers Infinity War worth your time ultimately? I'm gonna say yes. It's a wonderful cap-off to the first decade of Marvel movies, as well as a bold statement that perhaps the best is still yet to come for this set of movies. But, you know, to really get into that, I'm going to have to get into spoiler territory. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, for the few of you out there who may be on the fence, check it out. I really think you're gonna like it. Goes to some interesting places you might not expect. And with that, I'm gonna throw up the big spoiler warning, you know, header right here, right now. So don't say I didn't warn you. Don't go in the comment section and tell me that I dropped this without warning. Alright then, we cool? Anyone who cares about spoilers gone? Good, let's get into it then. So Thanos frickin' wins. Yes, Thanos wins at the end of this movie. He completes his plan, there, and by completing his character arc, he unites all of the Infinity Stones, snaps his fingers, and basically blinks out of existence half of all life in the universe, including some of our most favorite heroes and characters. There were literally children crying in the theater when Spider-Man and Groot went away, and honestly, I cannot blame them. It's really sad, it's really poignant, it's really moving, especially because they strip all the sound out of it and just kind of let you ride the same ride that the characters are going through with all this confusion. This also sets up a pretty interesting status quo going into the sequel that we're probably going to be getting next year, and that is the few heroes that are still around to fight are completely scattered across the world and across the universe, in a world that has gone completely mad now because essentially the rapture happened, more or less. The other really interesting thing about it is, what does this mean for Thanos going forward? He is a bad guy who has done what all bad guys want to do. He's won. He won the day. He got what he wanted out of it. He completed his arc, and in fact, at the end of the movie, he gets the final shot, and they make it look like he's retiring, more or less. He's gonna become Farmer Thanos like he was in the comics, and you gotta wonder, what's that gonna go with in future movies? Where is that gonna go? I think it's gonna be really interesting. Plus, now the whole thing is open too, where it's like, well, how are they gonna get these characters back? Obviously, they're gonna have to come back, because they have to headline their own film series moving forward. They're not just gonna kill them straight up like that. They're not gonna shoot themselves in the foot and lose out on all the money. Obviously, this means going into the future and going into the next movie, they're going to have to make use of the Infinity Gauntlet themselves and wish everyone back to life. Which leads to the bigger question, who's going to get to make that choice? Who's going to get the gauntlet? Who's going to do that? Is that going to cause problems between the heroes, you know, using their power on such a level? Also, if they're smart, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the writers will use this as an opportunity to maybe write themselves out of some corners they wrote themselves into. Maybe wish some people back using the magic gauntlet who they might want to see back. You know, wouldn't that be some shit? Be like, hey, you know, we really liked Ironmonger, maybe we shouldn't have killed him, he's back. Hey, we really liked Ulysses S. Claw, we probably shouldn't have killed him, let's bring him back. Those are mostly villains. I know they'll also probably be thinking like, hey, if we can wish people back into reality, maybe Tony's parents, maybe this person, maybe that person. There's a lot of places they can go with this, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this one in the future. So yeah, that's my Avengers Infinity War video, everyone. I wasn't gonna do it, but I figured this was so big and such an important watershed moment in comic book movies and geek culture, I figured I should probably put my thoughts into film before I eventually do the spoiler cast on the comic multiverse, which will be coming Wednesday at 8, as I do that one with Matt, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that before as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. I kind of did a little hybrid here of shooting from the hip and actually reading some stuff. If you like movie reviews like this, maybe I'll keep doing them. I don't do movie review vlogs all that much because predominantly they don't get the same viewership as comic stuff, and I don't blame people for only coming to my channel for comic material. But I hope you liked this one, and I will be back again later, everyone. So until next time, bye-bye.